Coming up on NFL Daily, Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos. Could he be traded? Also, Chase Claypool's future in question. Feels like he just joined the Chicago Bears. And then what about Lael Collins? Still available in free agency at this point. What is his next stop? It actually might surprise you with the news that we received this week. We'll go over all of that and more coming up in a matter of moments. Folks, don't miss out coming up on Sunday, as right here on our Chat Sports main channel, we are going to do live whip-around coverage where this is going to be a place to be where you can check in on our various watch parties and our Red Zone show here on NFL Daily. It's way different than what we've done in the past. So if you need something to do on Sunday, subscribe to the channel and join us for whip-around coverage of all the games in action live right here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We will see you then. Subscribe for free now. Patrick Surtain, one of the better corners in the National Football League, has been named as a top trade candidate for the Denver Broncos, as this team is just straight up a dumpster fire right now. And last week, they give up, 70 points to the Miami Dolphins, and it wasn't Patrick Surtain's fault. But now, sitting at 0-3, their season is essentially over, and about time to clean house, right? Where could Surtain end up? Let's set the scene for you here. Surtain, one of the best at his position, a first-team All-Pro in 2022. Still has 2 years remaining on his current contract, and pretty friendly, the contract-wise, of what he's owed the next couple of years. Not a ton of money. Now, because of that, with how high of a level he plays at, and then with the contract being team-friendly, it's probably going to cost a lot to bring in Pat Surtain. Probably about a first and a second-round pick, and then potentially more beyond that. His statistics, I got to tell you, have been really solid. Through 3 games this season, he's got 3 pass breakups, 9 tackles. Last year, 2 INTs, 60 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 10 pass breakups. And then his rookie season, he had 4 picks along with 14 pass breakups. All in all, so far in his career, 6 interceptions, 27 pass breakups, and 127 tackles. Here's the deal, folks, when it comes to Pat Surtain. He's an incredible football player, and I feel bad for the guy that he is stuck in this just awful, God-forsaken situation with the Denver Broncos. He deserves better than what the Denver Broncos have to offer him. It's just ridiculous. And so for his sake, I hope he gets traded, goes to a contending team. And as far as I'm concerned, I think there's going to be plenty of suitors that will be interested in the services of Pat Surtain. So with that, let me tell you what those teams could potentially be in the market for when it comes to Patrick Surtain, of a few teams in particular that come to mind for his services. Because I got to tell you, I think what you're looking for as far as teams go that are interested in Pat Surtain at this point is you got to have some cap flexibility of some sorts, and you have to be in a position of being a contending team as well that can make said trade. So with that in mind, the Dallas Cowboys right away with Diggs obviously out for the season. They need help. We know the Cowboys are a good football team. Could make a lot of sense for Dallas there, and they got money to spend. San Francisco, they got about $40+ million in cap space at this point. That could be a team that could afford to be aggressive, and they already have a great defense as is. Add Surtain, watch out. And then the Miami Dolphins. This one's gaining some steam, some traction. We've seen the Dolphins have an ability to be aggressive and try to make moves through trades over the last couple of years. It wouldn't surprise anybody at all if they tried to make this move. So let's ask you this. What team is the most likely to trade for Patrick Surtain? I gave you a few. Obviously, there's others out there. Our pinned comment today. Weigh in and tell us what you think the team is that's most likely to do so. Now, Chase Claypool. What is next for Claypool? His future kind of remains in flux after a slow start to the season, and we heard some rumblings that he's not happy about his role with his team, and we know about the lack of success going on with the Chicago Bears right now. It has not been pretty of what's going on with that team and how Claypool feels like he belongs with this team. Matt Eberflus, their head coach, who's on the hot seat himself, had this to say recently about Claypool. I'm not going to talk about who's going to be up or down for the game right now, but for obvious reasons, we're looking at all things to make our team better, who's going to be up and who's going to be down in terms of the active roster. So that doesn't sound like a vote of confidence for Chase Claypool coming directly from his head coach. But nonetheless, we'll dive in and have more on Claypool coming up in just a moment. But first, today's edition of NFL Daily is presented by Prize Picks. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this football season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Prize Picks is a really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entries in less than 60 seconds. And a couple of bets that I'm watching for, some things to keep an eye on this week when it comes to my Prize Picks is Geno Smith and Brock Purdy to hit the more margin. It's real simple. You just pick more or less. And if I put, let's say 20 down on that, I could come away with 60. So you can do the same with Prize Picks. And get this, you can get a $100 deposit match when you use the promo code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for that $100 first deposit match. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that code CLNS for daily fantasy sports made easy. Now, think about this when it comes to Chase Claypool and his situation. This was somebody that the Bears gave up a second-round pick for. Second-round pick. What a mistake that was, looking back at it. And it ended up being the number 32 pick overall with the Dolphins losing their pick and everything. So basically a first-round pick. And this is what they have to show for it this season with Chase Claypool. 4 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. That's it. And a bad attitude. They don't want him around. Claypool, I would think his days are numbered, and the Bears have, I think, every right to be upset with how he's handled things. I would expect Claypool potentially to be gone here sooner rather than later. Will the Bears trade Chase Claypool? Y for yes, N for no. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comments section and tell us how you think it's going to go if he ends up getting moved or not. The most highly sought-after free agent right now on the market is Lael Collins, who previously was with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys before that. And according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the idea of where he could go might surprise you. Listen to this from Fowler. Collins suffered a torn ACL and MCL in his left knee in December, but has been medically cleared. Something to consider, Collins has $2.1 million in injury guarantees if he doesn't play this year. That's a nice fallback plan if he can't come to an agreement on a contract with a new team. Fowler in his reporting also said there's about 12-plus teams that have shown interest in Lael Collins, as you have a lot of teams that are desperate, that need help on the offensive line already 3 weeks into the season. But think about this from the reporting of Jeremy Fowler here. He can sit and still earn that $2.1 million. So if you're Lael Collins, there's no pressure to necessarily go out there and play. You can get fully healthy, you can take your time, and then come back next year and figure it out from there. So what might end up being a scenario for Lael Collins is he could just say, you know what, I'm going to take my $2.1 million and take the year off. He potentially could do that. Similar to, OBJ last year. We did all this talk, where is he going to go, and then he didn't end up playing at all. If Collins wants to play, though, there's enough teams out there with a need that he can still go out there and play and make significant money. I think that he can do a lot better than just the $2.1 million sitting at home and be on a contending team potentially. Collins, according to Pro Football Focus back in 2022, was the 13th best offensive tackle in the league. A lot of experience, 89 career games played with 86 starts. And he's not that old. Previously played with the Bengals and Cowboys over his 7-year career to this point. So where could Lael Collins go if he does decide that he wants to play in teams that could be a good fit? 3 in particular that come to mind for me. The New England Patriots, who are very desperate on their offensive line. We already knew going into the year the offensive line wasn't very good in New England, and the injuries have just piled up on that front. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills, another team that is looking for help, would like to get Josh Allen some more protection. We've already seen Josh Allen get beat up a bit this year. And then the Miami Dolphins. They would really like their run game to improve, but they need their offensive line to give them that chance for the run game to improve. Collins could potentially do that. So what team is most likely to sign Lael Collins? Let's say that he does come back and doesn't sit out. Who is the most likely destination to bring him in? Chime in the comment section. Tell us what you think he could end up. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe now to NFL Daily by Chat Sports as we're talking about the National Football League each and every day here on the channel. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. You can subscribe now for free and join us for our whip around coverage this Sunday. We will see you then. Thanks for joining us here on NFL Daily.